Universal Orlando, lots of attractions, lots of movies and cinema related things, maybe a bit too much. And of course, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Velocicoaster. Are you a fan of Harry Potter by any chance? Well, you're gonna find two themed lands connected park to park by the train. A lot of things going on, a lot of things to like, but also some flops that we're gonna talk about. Universal Orlando tops and flops. Now let's put it in context. Of course, Orlando, it's a different thing, right? Everything is so well done, everything is so themed. Just to give it in context, I think any queue line is themed 10 times better than any attraction in Europe, leave alone UK. So when we talk about flops, of course, are things that they could have done better or they didn't really convince me 100%, but let's be realistic, this is another level. So let's keep that in mind. Anyway, what are the key attractions? Let's start with Harry Potter. So you got two land in the two different parks. Starting from this one, you got the castle, which is amazingly themed. The queue line is to die for, and then it's an indoor kind of coaster with movies and projection experience. Really, really nice. A bit too intense, maybe. And then, of course, the motorbike adventure, Hagrid, which is super famous. Again, an amazing queue line. And then this Intamin launched coaster with this bespoke train made of a motorbike and a sidecar. Well, what to say about this coaster? It's just pure joy. It's a masterpiece. It's an Intamin launched family coaster. It's got multiple launches. It's got lots of transaction. It's a dark ride. It's got lots of animatronics. Storytelling is robust and solid and super credible. It's got onboard soundtrack. At some point, it's got a drop-in track as well. There is so much going on, and it's state-of-the-art technology as well. Keep in mind that there are 12 trains, out of which 9 are simultaneously on track. Say that I loved it. It's probably one of the best family coaster ever. Then you can take the Hogwarts Express to do the park to park. Of course, you need the park to park ticket in order to do so. This one is an attraction itself, and you are gonna off-board in King's Cross in London. This is a lovely replica of London, really nicely themed, and a nice addition to Universal Studios. And then you walk through this little passage and there is a massive reveal moment because you are in Diagon Alley. Now, you might not care about Harry Potter, you might not really be into all these theming and Harry Potter stories and movies. But regardless, this thing is gonna take your breath away, period. The level of details, it's all wrapped around you. Also, there is this reveal effect because there is one entrance only, the only one you can use, and then Diagonale unfolds 360 degrees all around you. All the shops are real. You can walk in any single one of them and there is something going on. Hands down, this is probably the best themed area in Orlando, which means I'm saying is better than Star Wars one in Disney. Just because everything is so detailed, the attention to the little things, everything it's real, looks real. It's just an amazing themed area. The attraction in here, it's the famous Escape from Gringotts, where there is this queue line, the bank. You've probably seen it like 10 times already. Again, I don't know, the queue, it feels like the attraction already. They could charge you just to do the queue, basically, because it's so grand, majestic. It's all around you, and it's so big as well. It's so detailed. And guys, this is the queue line only. It's not the attraction itself. The attraction is actually a multi-dimensional coaster, which it's a perfect attraction for the whole family. So really, really nice. So enough of Harry Potter. Let's move on to Jurassic Park, and I want to be different here. You would expect me to start with Velocicoaster, right? No, it's not happening. Let's talk about the water ride, because despite being old, this is based on the first movie of Jurassic Park. It's actually a really nice and enjoyable ride. The theming, it's well done, storytelling is solid. Unfortunately, some animatronics are a bit old and some are not 100% functioning. But then, after the first kind of more relaxed part, you go indoor and you got this never-ending lift, and you go all the indoor part of the ride where things went wrong. Which ends, of course, with huge animatronics of a T-Rex, which is really credible, and then this massive splash all the way down. Say that it's a really nice ride, and I think it's a kind of milestone of Universal, but definitely still credible. And then yes, okay, there is Velocicoaster. So this one is a launched Intamin coaster, which is alright. I don't even know where I should start from. So the station, it's really, really nicely themed. All the queue line has got posters, has got animatronics, has got this view of the first launch of the coaster. There is a storytelling which is credible, which is kind of unusual, because giving a theme and a story to a coaster is quite difficult. It's a coaster at the end of the day. While here the story is credible, it's properly narrated through the queue, and those animatronics, I mean, you actually think that they managed to clone dinosaurs and they are real. They are unbelievable, out of this world. And then the coaster itself, well, you probably know that I'm in love with Taron in Fantasyland, but this one is kind of like Taron, just better. Imagine taking Taron and putting it upright, so it's finally vertical rather than horizontal. It's a really nice coaster and kind of fills the gaps of Taron in terms of inversions, in terms of height, and going up. There is this massive top hill after the second launch. It's super fluid. It's intense. It's just really, really nice. I can tell that out of this kind of coasters is definitely the best coaster in the world. I'm saying out of those kind of coasters because you might say, well, RMCs are better, yeah, whatever. But currently it's really a masterpiece and should be in your bucket list. Then there is the Incredible Hulk, which is a older B&M launched coaster. I was surprised by this one because I wasn't expecting it to be so intense. It's got lots of interesting transactions and transitions and inversions and all that. It's really, really a nice coaster. It used to be probably like the top coaster of the park, but still it's one that should be in your bucket list. Especially because the launch is so unusual. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but yeah, it's a kind of surprising launch to say. Then, still in the coaster, there is Rip Ride Rocket, which is again a nice coaster. It's different because you can select the soundtrack out of a massive playlist. Nice idea, not properly implemented to be honest, because of course then the track is not synced, it's not even faded when you go back to the station. But who cares about the soundtrack? To be honest, it's really nice. The coaster itself has got this vertical chain lift and then inversions. The track is super long, so soundtrack, yes or no, whatever, but it's still a really remarkable coaster in Universal Studios. So definitely one to watch and one to ride. Then there is the Revenge of the Mummy that recently reopened. So this one, again, it's a masterpiece. It's an indoor coaster, but it can be classified also as a dark ride. So the coaster goes through some dark ride scenes with lots of animatronics, lots of effects, flames, fire, smoke, whatever. Then it turns into a kind of intense indoor roller coaster. The queue is amazingly themed. But the overall experience, especially if you don't know what to expect, it's wow, thumbs up. So super happy that I managed to do it. Super happy that they open it again. It used to be one of the top attraction in Universal, and I think it still is. Then there are a couple of water rides which are intense, wet, amazingly themed, and of course a super welcome addition to the offering, just because the weather it's well basically summer all year around, right? So who cares if you're gonna get wet? Really nice, super fun. And then there is Spider-Man. They're in the category of projection, movie, cinema-related attractions. Is probably the best one. I'm gonna go back on this topic, but considering that the storytelling is nice, all the effects are in sync, there is also a queue line which is amazingly themed. It's just so nice. So out of too many attractions in this category, Spider-Man is definitely the best one. Then Poseidon, I was actually happy that I managed to try it just a couple of days before Universal closing this attraction down. It's a theater. There is a lot going on. I do understand why people are kind of crying now that it's closed. So thumbs up for this one. Hopefully it's gonna come back. And then Born Stuntacular is just a show which is a masterpiece. Go for it. In terms of more practical tops, every single ride has got a single rider queue, and there are lockers all over the place. Also, every single attraction has got a family room or a child swap facility, which is really good. And there is not all the Disney faff around booking the day in the park and not being able to leave the park before 2 p.m. Or all that. So it's much easier to navigate. Well, in terms of flops, so the one in your face is okay, Universal, it's cinema, it's a movie, but you wouldn't expect the same attraction to be, the same type and kind of attraction to be repeated to death. So there are lots of 3D cinemas, 4D cinemas, vehicles in front of a projection, and all that kind of things. And at some point, it just feels repetitive because it feels like you're doing the same attraction over and over again, just with a different projection. At the end of the day, it feels like you are sitting with some 3D glasses like for 8 hours solid, which is a bit too much. So this for me was like the major problem of Universal is like the rides, they all look the same. Another flop, it's the show at Harry Potter's castle. Just because, first thing, you never know if it's gonna happen or not. It's not really, there are no notices, it's not mentioned in the app either. And then compared to the show that Disney is doing in Magic Kingdom, well, what can I say? I would say if you have to do it like this, just don't do it. Maybe it's better. Then another flop, which I'm not sure if it's a flop or if it's like a positive, but the themed areas are so nicely themed, so nice. It's so nice just to walk around and look around and blend into all this theming. But at some point, the attraction, they're kind of suffering to get their spot in those themed land. I think, for example, the Simpson area, the area itself is to die for, especially if you are a fan of Simpson, seeing the Quick Market or Moe's Pub or Krusty Burger. It's, oh my god, I'm in there. But then there is only one attraction, well, probably there are two, but the main attraction is, guess what, a 4D cinema, yay. And they don't keep up with the level of the land itself. So sometimes you find it quite underwhelming because the land, the theming of the land, and also the theming of the queue are likely to be better than the attraction itself. So these it might be a bit disappointing. So all in all, two nice parks. Teaming is another level. The themed land, apart from Harry Potter, like the whole park is really really good, and there are some attractions which are world famous, world renowned, award winners, and the one that should be in your bucket list. In 2025, Universal is gonna open the third park, Epic Universe, and so this is gonna be the place to visit. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel.